Dr. James, Legal Services.
Hi Sue, it's Dave here. Yeah, thanks for making the time to talk to me. I wanted to talk to you about the Evans family. Yeah, well, I've been meaning to catch up with you about these for some time now, really, because I think we've come to a point where we want to consider taking some slightly more kind of serious action and have a look at kind of potential legal intervention.
Okay, tell me about the case.
Well, we've known them for about 5 years, and over that time there's been a number of kind of safeguarding plans, kind of on and off really over that time. There's only 2 children in the household at the moment. There's Shireen, who I think she's 12, and her brother Lewis, he's 10. There was an older brother, Liam, but he's left home now. He's out of the property, and I think probably our feeling as a team is that with hindsight we should really have approached you in legal services for some advice on this a little bit sooner.
So why didn't you?
Well, I mean, our view is that the children have been suffering from neglect for years, but I think every time we escalate things, then things seem to improve for a while. But particularly when they're made subject to safeguarding plans, things get better, but only really until they've improved enough for deregistration, and then after that things deteriorate again quite quickly.
You say neglect, what do you mean?
The parents, Claire and Darren, they've got quite a volatile relationship, and we've had some concerns about substance and alcohol misuse. And also, the children have missed quite a lot of school. There seems to be kind of very poor boundaries and also very poor kind of general day-to-day routine with them. The school will often report that they don't appear to have regular meal times, and they're often kind of quite hungry and quite unkempt, quite dirty when they're in school. And sometimes the school have described the children as kind of quite miserable, really. And alongside that, there's also some kind of medical concerns. We've had head lice on a regular basis, scabies, and the parents really haven't responded to that or treated those as kind of quickly as we would have liked them to do, really. So that's been a concern. And people are also concerned really about the lack of kind of peer involvement that the children have. They're not generally involved in activities, schools, after school activities. They're not very well socially integrated, and I think that's caused people concern as well.
But you say that when children are made subject to safeguarding plans, the family do respond and things change.
Yeah, things do change after safeguarding plans, yeah.
So the family cooperate?
I think you're right. I think they do cooperate, but that generally tends to be just for a while. And I think I'm kind of a bit reluctant to say this, but I mean, I think that even though we've had quite a long-standing relationship with this family, I think we've kind of reached the point where we probably need to consider removal now.
If we removed children because they had NITs or they didn't get to go on the school trip, we'd have a lot of children in care.
Well, I understand that, and I know what you're saying.
Why removal? The sound of it, there haven't been any specific incidents where one of the children has been harmed. Any incidents, abandonment, assaults, for instance?
Well, no, that's right. I mean, there hasn't been anything particularly severe or specific. I mean, I think the thing for us as a team and for me as a manager really is the concerns about the cumulative effect over the years of that neglect, and I think that's the key thing that we're worried about here.
We have to be realistic here. I think it would be tough to get a court to see things the same way. I'm not sure that you would have the evidence that you need to prove the likelihood of significant harm and the need for care orders. You've said yourself that when you put the pressure on, things do improve. And in any event, the children are 10 and 12 now, so technically their self-care skills will improve over the next few years. And they will become more independent. The court would have to consider this. My advice would be to continue to support the family in the way that you are doing. Care proceedings would be costly and unlikely to be successful, in my opinion.
Well, we've got a multi-agency meeting coming up next week, so I mean, I'll feed that advice and in your view of it back to there, and we'll have a conversation with them and see how people feel.
Please
about
come
it.
back to me if things deteriorate further, or if there is a specific risk or injury, for example.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, thanks, Sue.